Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Zari Ballard, and today we're going to talk about why narcissists push you away. The game, or the sport as I call it, of seduce and discard. Or why your narcissist pushes you away. The games that he plays and the games that you participate in. I'll tell you all about it, so don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. So before we get into anything, I want you to make sure you hit that subscribe button if you're not already subscribed. And if you are subscribed, thank you. And make sure you hit that like button if you like the video. So let's get into it. The narcissistic tactic of seduce and discard is the solid foundation of the narcissist's pathological relationship agenda. Everything else that the narcissist does, every manipulative tactic, every ploy, it's all connected to this sport. And he relies on it to work every day, all day, every time. And that you're going to participate in it. And he's right. You will. Seduce and discard, of course, is my slang for the constant push, pull, hot, cold that the narcissist does throughout the entire relationship. You always feel on the edge of your seat in a heightened state of anxiety. You never know when he's going to leave, and unless you get smart about it, you don't know when he's going to come back. If you've been with a narcissist for any length of time, you'll know exactly when he will come back. I used to pinpoint it almost to the minute. Seduce and discard is also the tactic that causes us the most grief because it gives us that angst of, why does he do it? Why do I keep participating in it? Why do I keep going back? It's constant. It's the constant, the broken record of the relationship that runs and runs and runs in your mind. And it can make you insane, make you go crazy, with good reason. So I'm going to try to make it real simple. The narcissist treats you like that, the push-pull, because that's all they know how to do. Don't overthink it. Once you realize that your partner is a narc, you don't have to overanalyze it anymore. You really don't. They push and they pull, and they're unavailable, seemingly unavailable, because that's the only way they know how to exist in this world. It's the only thing that gives them a thrill, makes them feel alive, fills up all that emptiness that they are inside, because they really are empty. They're like an empty shell of a person. The currency without the gold bit to back it up. That's what they are. And this push-pull keeps the relationship new, and it creates an environment where they can keep reinventing themselves and coming back, and it's new. They can push the reset button. That is the game, the sport of seduce and discard. And one of the ways to look at it, is to understand it, to understand the game, is to think like a fish. Imagine your narcissist as this recreational fisherman. He just kicks back on the bow of his boat, and he's got all the reels in the water, and all his little minions all waiting to catch onto that bait, and he knows exactly what bait to put on each hook to catch what fish. And which fish are you? Well, you're called the easy fish. That's what I call us, the easy fish. And the easy fish it's the easiest one to catch. And he plays with it. He didn't even have to put a bait on the hook anymore to catch you. Okay, so we are, of course, the fish, and the narcissist is the fisherman. And throughout the duration of the relationship, he's either pulling us in or casting us out. That's the way it works. And even though, say, he might be a little bit better fisherman, a nicer fisherman than others because he allows his fish to live, it's the hook itself that fucking hurts. And that's what the game is all about. They don't think like we do. Okay? We think it's because they don't love us, but they can't love us. So that isn't even an issue. So wipe that idea out of your head. It's not because you're not worthy of it. Because the narcissist sees everyone on the same emotional level, meaning you are no more important than the person before you and the one that will come after you. You have to keep that in your mind. This relationship is in your head. And it's not anything like the relationship that he feels in his head. He constantly has to keep it fresh and keep it new. They don't understand the word normalcy. Normalcy is how you nurture a regular relationship. You do things together. You're comfortable around each other. You trust each other. That has nothing to do with this kind of relationship. That's what makes it different than even the most dysfunctional of normal relationships. Okay, so let's talk about some of the advantages that the narc gets from participating in the sport of seduce and discard. Number one, trauma bonding. Trauma bonding, it's kind of like something called the Stockholm Syndrome, where kidnap victims would become attached to their captors, okay, to the point where they won't even testify against them in court. And there's even more to it than that. It's called the arousal jag, which is part of the push-pull, how they reinforce it. They give you something, and then they take it away. Give it to you, take it away. And the arousal is like the excitement, right before it's over. And then the jag is the relief when you're given the reprieve to breathe. And it goes back and forth. You do that enough times and you become trauma bonded to a person, which causes us to have all kinds of problems afterwards. PTSD and things and we're constantly triggered when the relationship is over. So that's number one, is the trauma bonding. A narcissist is very easily able to trauma bond his partner to the madness of the relationship with the push-pull or the seduce and discard. Number two, through the game of seduce and discard, the narcissist can manage down your expectations. If he does something, if the narcissist, if you know that you can't really count on the narc for anything, this is it's never said outright, but just his actions are showing you that you can't count on this person, that you can't really make plans and expect them to go through, then your expectations of the relationship are just managed down really subtly in a very passive-aggressive way, sometimes not so passive-aggressive, and you pretty much expect nothing from the relationship. And that's exactly what you get. We become okay with it, actually, because we realize that's all we're going to get, and we actually bargain with our logic and we think, well, it's not so bad. I can accept that. I really don't care if we go out. I really don't care if he gives me any gifts. I really don't care if he comes to my birthday or if he's there at Christmas. Well, we know none of that's true, but that's how they manage down our expectations. Number three, the sport of seduce and discard ultimately will keep us quiet. It'll keep us saying nothing. It'll keep us looking the other way, not wanting to make mountains out of molehills, quietly picking our battles, the wrong ones. We let the narc do whatever they want to do and get away with it, and we're still there. It's all part of the same game. It's all part of the same game. And no one should ever be made to feel that way. Ever. Ever. Why we put up with it? That's what you have to ask yourself. And when you try to overanalyze it, which most of the time all we're doing is trying to figure out why he left. And then when they come back and, we get privileged with their visit, then we think, well, they must really love us, and that's why they returned. It has nothing to do with that. When you ask yourself, why did he leave? The answer to that question, and almost every other one, is because he's a narc. That's why. Because she's a narc. That's why. It has nothing to do with you. It's not personal. The sooner that you realize that narcissism is a disorder based on behaviors, and those behaviors are very specific. That's why you can read stories about narcissism, about other people's narcs, and you think that, you might as well, you can interchange with them. Your life is pretty much interchangeable with anybody's story that you read. Why is that? Because it's a real disorder, and these are real behaviors that are associated with that disorder. So you don't have to take it personally. It's not, if your narc is doing that, I mean, if your partner is doing that, you decide that they're a narc, then everything that they do, that mind boggles, that blows your fucking mind. Why did he do that? Why is she doing that? Because he or she is a narc. That's it. It doesn't have to be that complicated. People ask me those questions all the time. But why would he? Why would she? Because he's a narc. That's why. That's what they do. And when people ask me that, then I know that they really haven't grasped the idea that the person really has a narcissistic personality. And I'm not sure whether that's because people don't want to believe that the disorder exists, but you need to, because there are millions that walk on the planet that are all doing this behavior. And it's not our first rodeo. Most of us have been in at least one or two or three relationships where these aren't the behaviors. Even if the quote-unquote normal partner is a cheater, even if they're a cheater, doesn't necessarily mean they're a narc. And that's, well, every narcissist is a cheater. Not every cheater is a narcissist. There's a difference. You know the difference. In a normal relationship, when the relationship is over, it's over. They don't keep coming back and forth, maybe once or twice, but not over and over and over and over. Silent treatments, just disappearing. Okay, just discard. The discard, that's what they call it, a discard. It's just like, here, you piece of trash. You're like a piece of shit on my shoe. That is the way you feel. They erase you from their life. That is the discard. And then, period of time passes, they come back. They're pretty confident that they've either trauma bonded you or they managed down your expectations. Okay? And so they just rinse and repeat. That's all they do. Press the reset button, and they're right back in with the seduce. And it just goes seduce and discard, push, pull, throughout the entire relationship. And it can be done in different ways. It doesn't necessarily mean that they disappear off the face of the earth. You can be in the relationship and see this person every day, can be married to them, living in the same house, and still feel that push-pull. So it just because your narc doesn't disappear doesn't mean that he's not a narc. Okay, just because they live in, well, he never goes anywhere, he never goes. Yeah, but you're calling me. So obviously something about the relationship is making you uncomfortable. It's not acceptable, ladies and gentlemen. It's just not. So this push-pull, to me, is pretty exclusive to being involved with someone who has a narcissistic personality. You can pretty much, and it's not just one time. One time, maybe it happens, okay? As you're trying to work out the beginning of the relationship, I don't know, maybe it does. But not over and over and over and over for years. Mine would disappear for, the first time was 6 weeks, and then it just, went back and forth. One time it was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, like clockwork. I knew the second he was going to come back on the door. Then it would be, he would leave in October sometime, not come back till January 2nd, just conveniently missing the holidays, It's really ridiculous. And they know exactly, they know by that time whether or not you will participate. Your choice is always not to participate. Should be always not to participate. You don't have to tell them. You don't even have to break up with them. You just don't have to be there when they get back. You just don't. So think about it. Stop. See if you can stop asking yourself. Stop sitting and torturing yourself with questions like, why would he do that? What is he doing? I thought we loved each other. I thought we were a couple. He doesn't care about our history. No, he doesn't. Why does he leave me like this? Because he's a narc. Because he's a narc. Because she's a narc. Because she's a narc. That's the answer. This is it's a disorder, personality disorder, based on behaviors. It's a behavioral disorder. Recognize those behaviors. You know what they are. Everybody's narc is basically the same. The only thing that makes a narc's life different each time is the partner, because we're all different. Okay, we're all different. So they learn how to adjust their game, how to play the sport, different with one person than the other. But you don't have to be the easy fish. You don't have to be the easy fish anymore. Why do you think they call it, oh, there's plenty of fish in the sea, and then plenty of fish, the website, or you're hooking up? Why do you think they call it that? Because it is a game. It is a game. But we have the choice whether or not to participate. So don't participate. Don't overanalyze. That's all. There's no, don't overanalyze. Because he's a narc, because she's a narc. That's your answer for most any question that you ask in your relationship with someone with a narcissistic personality. So anyway, thank you for joining me today. I hope your 2020 is coming off to a good start. I want you to get your game plan in order. Remember that. You can watch my video on the things to get 2020 on a roll so that you can, this time next year, maybe you'll be doing something else besides watching my videos. Who knows? And if you do need to talk to me, give me a call. I do have consultations. Make sure you subscribe right there, read my books, and come back and see me again. So I will see you next time. This is Zari Ballard, and this is the When Love is Alive video blog podcast.